We'll have a night, Rangers Suarez. Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Phillies Hot Stove Media and Jury Cap in last night's game between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Atlanta Braves as the Phillies defeat the Braves by a final score of 1-0 as the Phillies shut out the Braves. How about that? As we get swept out last weekend at Truist Park, we win the first game of the series at Citizens Bank. Now, guys, before we get into this video, please subscribe if you haven't yet. Please turn your bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. So Rangers Suarez with 6 solid innings last night, only allowing 5 hits, and he did his job just fine. Do not sleep on this guy. Do not sleep on this guy. 3.38 year rate now for Suarez. Gets the win now, 10-5 on the year. And 2 walks and 4 strikeouts for Ranger. And Zac Efron throws a very solid 1 2/3 innings, collecting 3 strikeouts. And Jose Alvarado continues to be very, very solid as always, as he pitches an inning and a third to close out the ballgame for his second save of the season. So I am just dumbfounded. If you would have told me 2 days ago, hey, the Phillies are going to win the first game of the series against the Braves and win 1-0, I would have said you're absolutely crazy. And now I think the Phillies are in very good position to split this series. Would just be absolutely wonderful. Would be absolutely wonderful. Especially when you're heading into 7 games, or you have to at least take 6 out of those 7 games. I'm sorry, you have to. You have to. When you're playing the Cubs and the Nationals, 2 awful teams, especially the Nationals, of course. The Cubs are definitely going to be a little bit tougher. Luckily, that's only 3 games. Of course, the National Series will be 4 games. I love shutting out our opponent, especially when it's a defending World Series champions, especially when it's a team that is not far out of that first place spot. As we get the scoring summary here in the bottom of the second inning, the only scoring of the ball game, Matt Vierling hits a sacrifice fly to center field. Then JT Realmuto comes around to score, and the Phillies now lead at 1-0. So Matt Vierling with some fundamental baseball. I love to see it. Of course, we had some opportunities all throughout this ball game to get more, and we came up short. But luckily for the Phils offense, their pitching staff is able to shut down the Atlanta Braves, and that would be your final 1-0 Philadelphia. I just cannot believe we won this game 1-0. I mean, seriously. We shut out the Atlanta Braves. I think a big reason as to why is simply because Ronald Acuna Jr. was scratched from the lineup at the 11th hour last night. And Kyle Schwarber out of the leadoff spot. He hit his performance where he was able to draw a walk. He also went down strikes twice as well. But Kyle Schwarber absolutely crushed a ball to right field that I thought was going to get out. And of course, last night was a very windy day. Unfortunately, fall just began as we say goodbye to the nice summer weather, and the winter months are upon us. Which I'm not really too thrilled about. But anyways, nothing we can do about that, of course. But the wind was whipping last night, and that ball, looked like it had a lot of velocity and carrying out. It was a towering shot, and you could just see the ball, float back, from the wall, of course. I mean, the wind just got hold of it, and it was tracked down. I thought that ball was going out. I think that if it was a hot August night, that ball would have been over the wall, and Kyle Schwarber would have been circling the bases. But instead, the wind got hold of it and kept it in the ballpark. You could just see how the wind just blew the ball back from the wall. It was very obvious. And Rhys Hoskins out of the 2-hole. I mean, a lot of opportunities, with runners on base, runners to scoring position. He continues to come up short. Very disappointing. But he was able to collect a knock last night, striking out 3 times. He struck out 12 times last night as a team. I'm very worried about this offense. It's been no secret. I haven't really kept that in. I've made that very vocal. I'm not really too comfortable with this offense right now, especially with the top of the order not really doing much. And Alec Boehm collects a knock last night as well, also striking out once. And Bryce Harper, what in the world is wrong with this guy? Another hit performance last night, going 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. He doesn't even look like he's even making good contact on the baseball. He's pulling out on everything. He's spinning out on the baseball. There's the ball's on the outside part of the plate, and he's hitting little weak choppers to second base instead of doing what his normal self is what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to take the ball at the left field, but instead he's trying to pull the ball, and he's just spinning out, and he's hitting ground balls to second base. That is exactly what is happening. So this is not Bryce. I mean, this is not. It's very strange how he, was on second base, a few days ago, and there's only 1 out, and he takes off running, and then he gets doubled off. That's not Bryce Harper. That is not Bryce Harper. Something is wrong with this guy. He doesn't have his head in the game. He doesn't look engaged. He's swinging at, junk he shouldn't be swinging at in the dirt. He looks lost. And he's not even walking. He's not doing anything right now. So I'm not sure what in the world is going on with Bryce Harper. It's very concerning. He's looked terrible since coming back off of the IL. It's almost been a month now, and he's been an absolute train wreck. So I'm very concerned about the reigning NL MVP. 290 average now for Harper's. The OPS now drops below 900. You know why? Because he's not walking. An 896 OPS over his last 30 games. 234 average. 339 OBP and a 346 slugging. That's an OPS below 700. Think about that. An OPS below 700 his last 30 games. So he's really got to turn it on here. I mean, hopefully going to Chicago and going back to his old his old stomping grounds in Washington. Hopefully I can get him going. You know what I mean? Because clearly something is missing with Bryce right now. He doesn't even look like he's not. I've seen Bryce Harper slumps where he's hit the ball hard and like you're just so frustrated. You're like, my gosh, he's squaring up on the ball and it's just hit right to somebody. But Bryce Harper isn't doing that right now. He's just hitting these little weak ground balls to second base. He's pulling off on the baseball. He just looks terrible. He looks terrible. No other way to say it. JT Muto also collecting a knock last night as well. So the BCIB just continues to be very, very solid for the Phils. Gene Segura gets to start at second. Also collects a knock last night. And Matt Vierling, of course, driving the only Phillies running the ball game on that sacrifice fly. And a very interesting stat. This just explains even more as to why I'm not a fan of Nick Castellanos. This just came out about 10 minutes ago from Matt Gallup of The Athletic. Another great tidbit from him. I love stats like this, and it's very interesting. Phillies right fielder Nick Castellanos went in the IL on September 3rd. And since then, the Phillies right fielders have combined for a .333 batting average, which is second in all of baseball. Of course, we all know who has the number one average in all of baseball since that time. Aaron Judge, of course, of the New York Yankees, who's having a spectacular season. A .407 OBP, something like that. First in all of baseball. A .627 slugging, first in all of baseball, and 59 plate appearances. And to just see who has taken part in those plate appearances: Matt Vierling, 22 plate appearances; Nick Maton, 19 plate appearances; Dalton Guthrie, 18 plate appearances. So round of applause for these guys. So over the last 3 weeks, these guys have been spectacular. They really, really have been. So I'm very proud of these guys for stepping up in just such a big way. Especially when you had Nick Castellanos, who was doing nothing out there, who was providing like a 700 OPS, hitting like 260. I don't even care about the batting average. I mean, a perfect example of that is Kyle Schwarber, a guy that does not hit clearly for the highest average, that's for sure, and his OPS is still sitting around 800. But I care more about that OPS, and Nick Castellanos just wasn't doing it for me out there in right field. And see, that's what there's always a silver line to every situation. When Nick Castellanos went down, all the media was like, oh my gosh, Nick Castellanos has been hitting .319 since the All-Star break. But they neglected to say that his OPS was just way down in the gutter. I mean, the home run rate was just way down. Look what has happened since. He's actually gotten better in the position in right field since he's gone down with an injury. Something you didn't really think was happening. There's always something good you could take out of it. I mean, there's always a silver lining to every situation. There's always something good you can take out of it, right? You have to have that attitude. Bryson Stott goes hitless at short. He has just been really looking lousy. And Dalton Guthrie collects the knock last night. 1 walk and 1 strikeout. And how about that strike call from Andy Fletcher? I am so tired of these umpires just ruining the sport of baseball. I mean, that was probably one of the worst strike calls I've ever seen, ever. I mean, Angel Hernandez, in April, in that game against the Phils, that was pretty bad as well. I believe that was the Sunday Night Baseball. I mean, that was pretty pathetic, I'll be honest with you. Phils and Brewers, but that was one of the worst. I mean, that wasn't even close. I mean, that wasn't even remotely close to even being a strike. Kevin Long, Phillies hitting coach, got wrong, and he was visibly upset. I mean, I love it. I mean, get thrown out. I would have got thrown out as well. And Rob Thompson goes out there and doesn't get ejected from the game. If I was a manager, I'd be furious. I'd be absolutely furious. I would have gotten ejected like probably twice. I wouldn't have been able to keep my cool about that. I mean, that was just terrible. And these umpires are so soft. They can't take any criticism. First of all, they're terrible at their job. They don't do a good job, calling balls and strikes. They don't do a good job in safe and out calls most of the time as well. And yet they can't take any criticism. They are such babies. They're so sensitive. They can't take one little chirp from the bench. And, oh, you're out of here. You're out of here. They can't take anything. So Andy Fletcher, of course, with a very short fuse, as a lot of these umpires do, throws Kevin Long out of the ball game. Phillies hitting coach. So, good. Message need to be sent. I love it. Every single time he called a ball, the Phillies crowd clapped, right? I mean, oh my gosh, I just love it. That was driving him crazy. They were getting in his head. I love it. Every single time since then, when the Phillies were at the plate, the Phillies crowd, went crazy and just clapped, just to try to make a joke out of him. I love it. I absolutely love it. So we draw 2 walks last night. This Phillies team has been terrible, absolutely terrible with the walk department. It's been no secret. I mean, their biggest guys in that category with Bryce and Hoskins and Schwarbs, and they've all been terrible. With drawing the walks recently. I'm not too sure what in the world is going on. I mean, especially Rhys and Bryce. Rangers Suarez, 6 innings, 5 hits, no runs, of course, 2 walks and 4 strikeouts, a 3.38 ERA now for Ranger Danger, a 10-5 record now on the year. So he's kind of just flown under the radar. Of course, there was that period of time, a few weeks ago where when he just got to the 4th inning, he just got absolutely shelled, and he's been able to, revert back to good habits, and he was able to, pull himself out of that little rut he was in. And I'm very, very proud of him for doing that. So he's been very, very effective. I've been very proud of Ranger. I mean, he's pitched us 146 in the 3rd innings this year with a 1.30 whip. Of course, you got to remember this guy did spend time on the IL for a little while. He's gave us 27 starts. He's just been absolutely unbelievable. He's just been so good. Definitely an under-the-radar guy in this team. I like to see him go 7 innings sometimes, but, I mean, he's not really that kind of guy, and that's okay. Especially when you have Zac Efron in there, who's a former starting pitcher in the bullpen, and a nice middle reliever who pitched an inning and 2/3 with 3 strikeouts. I love Zac Efron in this role. I really, really do. He's much better suited for this than, being a starter, and he's the kind of guy, he's proven that he doesn't have the stamina of being a reliable starter from game 1 to game 162. It's been proven. He just can't do it with the knee problems, and he just doesn't have the stamina. So this is the perfect role for Zac Efron. He could be a secret weapon coming out of this Phillies bullpen. So, I mean, do not sleep on this guy either. Don't. And Jose Alvarado, I just can't believe how positive I've been about this guy. How in the world can you be not positive about Jose Alvarado? So re-sign this guy. Re-sign Jose Alvarado. I can't believe the words just came out of my mouth. Re-sign Jose Alvarado. He's just been incredible. An inning and a 1/3, 1 hit, and 2 strikeouts last night, 3.40 ERA. This keeps going down and down and down. 47 and 2/3 innings this year, a 1.28 whip, and he's a guy that's not afraid to take the baseball, and he's finally been able to locate the electric stuff. If you let this guy walk, it's an absolute disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. He has figured it out. He has truly figured it out. He hasn't allowed to run his last 7 appearances. Over his last 15 appearances, an 0.63 ERA. Over his last 30 appearances, a 1.67 ERA. A 1.67 ERA his last 30 appearances. I mean, this guy just keeps getting better and better and better. He has just been incredible, and it feels like nobody around baseball is really talking about it. Going back to the umpire situation, a lot of check swing calls last night. Andy Fletcher went out and played him. He doesn't even appeal. Even when they do appeal, I mean, clearly they check their swing and they say they go. So it's been a common theme we've seen the past 4 or 5 years, but it seems like it's just been significantly worse this year for that reason. Why? Maybe it's just me. If you think it's just me, go down and comment below. Do you believe that the umpires are significantly worse here in 2022? I do. I certainly do. I see it. I don't know what in the world's going on. I used to laugh at the idea of robo-umps, but now I embrace it, and now I love the idea of robo-umps because I'm tired of these guys just having, they think that they're like the star of the show. They think they're the new sheriff in town. They think that they can just do whatever they want, and I'm tired of it. I mean, they're just always out to get somebody. People don't buy a ticket and go to a stadium to watch umpires. People go to buy a ticket and go to the stadium to watch the players play. No one cares about umpires. No one cares. So 7-5 the first pitch tonight as Aaron Nola takes the hill against the Atlanta Braves. A pretty solid start last time out. 7 innings, 4 earned. Not bad. He just didn't really get a whole lot of run support because we did lose that game 4-3. 9-12 with a 3.38 ERA going against Jake Odorizzi. 5-5 with a 4.4 ERA. If you watch this video, please subscribe if you have not yet. Please turn on that notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Check out the social media link in the description section at Phillies Hat Stove Media, Instagram, follow me on Twitter at PHatStoveMedia. Card text 267-225-3392. Email me PhilliesHatStoveMedia@gmail.com. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Luke, and I'll talk to you later. Let's go Phillies. I'll see you guys.